Hello, welcome to Unit 4, Semicolons and Colons. So let's first talk about the semicolon. A semicolon is a stronger piece of punctuation than a comma, but it's weaker than a period. So if we kind of think about it in a line in terms of strongest to weakest, okay, and we're going to put our strong punctuation over here and our weaker punctuation here, okay, we would put the semicolon um, right. Let's see, we would have semicolon, a comma, and a period, right? The period being the strongest, and the semicolon, and then the comma, okay? It links two ICs with similar ideas, okay? It can also be used to avoid confusion when items in a list contain commas. And we'll look more specifically at that here in a moment. So, when can we use a semicolon to join two ICs to create a compound sentence? So, IC, semicolon, IC. Students with jobs lose focus on their schoolwork. Their grades begin to slip and their futures dim. Okay, so these ideas are similar to one another. Okay, so we can connect them with a semicolon. Use a semicolon and a transition, also known as a conjunctive adverb, to join two ICs, creating a compound sentence. Now, folks, what I want you to notice is that there are actually two pieces of punctuation in this compound sentence construction. Students with jobs tend to lose focus on their schoolwork. Semicolon, transitional word, hence comma. Their grades begin to slip and their futures dim. So we have a semicolon, a conjunctive adverb, which is just a fancy word for transition, folks, and a comma between our two ICs. Please don't forget about that comma. Please don't forget about that comma, folks. And then the third reason why we would use a semicolon is to separate items in a list that contains lots of commas where commas become confusing. So take a look at the example. My cousin has lived in Detroit, comma, Michigan, semicolon, Cleveland, comma, Ohio, semicolon, and Las Vegas, comma, Nevada, period. Okay, now typically items in a list, we just pop commas after them. But if we were to put commas after Michigan and after Ohio, that's confusing. Okay, so we replace that confusing comma with a semicolon, okay, so that we know these two items belong together, Detroit and Michigan, and Cleveland and Ohio belong together. Bobby hired Joe, comma, the carpenter, semicolon, Larry, comma, the mason, semicolon, and Steve, comma, the electrician. Think about it. If we had commas, you guys, in this list after carpenter and mason, again, we would get confused. We're replacing that second comma with a semicolon to show our reader Joe is the carpenter and Larry is the mason. On this plan, comma, ooh, nice comma opener, I can eat whole grain breads, comma, pastas, comma, and tortilla chips, semicolon. So all of those items in the list sort of belong together, right? They're all carbs. Citrus fruits, comma, green vegetables, comma, and some roughage. So there's all of the fruits and vegetables, and lean meats, comma, such as turkey or fish. So they're keeping similar items together in the list, but separating those categories with semicolons. Okay. When do we use a colon? Okay. A colon introduces a stop. Okay. It's stop and then introduces something. Okay. It's like drum roll, please. Okay. In the words of Jeff Anderson, the colon acts like a drum roll, announcing what will follow. Okay. So it's like, hey, folks, stop. Something important is coming. When to use a colon? Use a colon after a stop to introduce a list. Okay. The guy told us to bring the following items: a lantern, a sleeping bag, and a tent. Okay. So it's sort of a stop and then dun 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 dun, here's the list. Okay. Use a colon after a stop to introduce a quote. Okay. The president's attitude was cold and detached. Colon. We must not let emotion interfere with our mission. Okay. What I want you to notice about this way to introduce a quote, folks, is that we have a complete independent clause right here, and a whole IC before we get that quoted material. Okay. And it almost acts like the quote is modifying that independent clause. It's providing that modification, that extra information. The president's attitude was cold and detached. We must not let emotion interfere with our mission. It sort of is a stronger way to introduce a quote with that independent clause that then the quote supports or modifies. Use a colon after a stop to introduce another sentence or summary. It is obvious why you're tired. You're staying up too late. Okay, it's that stop. It's that stronger piece of punctuation. It's stronger than using this semicolon to join two ICs. Okay, this is essentially a summary of this first IC, or this first IC is introducing the second IC. It's obvious why you're tired, right? A summary or explanation. You're staying up too late. Okay. All right, so then let's take a look at some conventions review, 4.1b. Okay, some common word errors. Afflict versus inflict. Okay, afflict causes you sadness or suffering. So the focus is on you, okay, being afflicted by something. To inflict is for the pain to be directly caused by a force, okay, directly creating pain or suffering through force. You inflict something on someone else. An affliction pains you, okay? An infliction, is when you're putting pain on someone else. So the criminal inflicted several serious injuries on Jen, okay? So that direct force inflict. The injuries from the attack inflicted Jennifer, okay? So she was caused this pain from the injuries. Angela claimed that her husband had inflicted mental distress on her through his insults. So is she causing, or is he causing this pain? Okay, or is the pain being caused to her? Okay, so Angela claimed that her ex-husband had, right, caused, inflicted. He is the cause of this mental distress. Okay. Allusion versus illusion. An allusion is a passing reference to something in history, mythology, religion, or literature. So in the famous song that Taylor Swift sings, Love Story, she says, you were Romeo and I was your Juliet. That's an allusion. It's a quick reference to something in history, okay? If someone says, wow, you're such a Brutus, right? That's a quick allusion to Shakespeare, or to be or not to be, a quick little reference to a historical sentence. That's an allusion. An illusion is a deceptive appearance or trick. So magicians, they perform illusions. So Shakespeare peppers his work with allusions to Greek and Roman mythology. Okay, so this passing reference. Okay. Sheila wanted to know if their love was merely an illusion, meaning a deceptive appearance or trick. When talking about his illusions, the magician will often make allusions to things done by Harry Houdini. So, deceptive appearance or trick, quick reference in history. All right, now this is one that is probably most confusing for students. Lay versus lie, okay? Lay means to put something down, okay? I think about you guys, and I don't think I can type this out, but I'll add a little text box real quick right here. Whoops, I'll add a little text box. Okay, so lay means to put or place, okay? And I'll show you how I kind of remember that. I think about, I don't know why this isn't letting me make this bigger. There we go. Lay means to put or place. And I think about the A in place, the A in lay. Okay. And then lie Lie means to rest or recline. So I think about lie, rest, or recline. And folks, I just think of the E. Like the E in rest is the same as in lie. The E in recline is like the E in lie. So Joe, and I'll put these up here, you guys. Joe lay, meaning set, put, or place. Let me add that word. Set, put, or place his book on the table. Joe lies, meaning rest or recline on the couch. The book lies or rests on the table. Okay. The past tense is the confusing part. Laid versus lay. So let's take a look at the examples. While Joe lay on the couch, meaning past tense of rest or recline, I laid, set, put, or place the remote on the table, end table. Today I plan to set, put, or place on the couch all day or rest and recline. I mean to rest or recline. I plan to. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I circled the wrong one. Oh, sorry about that. I plan to lie. Whoops. Really struggling. Lie on the couch. Yesterday, I lay on the couch all day. You have lain on the couch all day. Get up. All right, so that concludes Grammar Unit 4.